The ice made a sound I'd never heard before. Not a crack, not exactly. It was deeper than that. A hollow groan that traveled up through my boots and into my knees, like the lake was shifting beneath me, reconsidering its patience. I froze mid-step, breath caught halfway out of my lungs, and waited for the ice to decide whether it was going to hold me or give way. That's when I heard her. It came from somewhere to my left, carried low across the snow. A sound too strained to be wind, too alive to be anything else. I turned slowly, scanning the lake through the thin curtain of falling snow, heart beginning to pound harder with each second. There, near the center of the lake, was a dark seam in the ice. Water glistened where it shouldn't have. And beneath it, something moved. I didn't want to get closer. I knew better. Anyone who spends time outdoors in winter learns to listen to that quiet voice that says, "Don't push your luck." But another sound came from the crack. Short, desperate, raw. And my feet started moving before I'd made the decision. As I approached, the shape sharpened into something unmistakable. A wolf. She was wedged halfway under the ice, chest submerged in black water, back legs splayed uselessly behind her. Every time she tried to move, the ice bit into her ribs, forcing the air from her lungs in harsh bursts. Her fur was soaked through, already stiffening with frost. One yellow eye locked onto me the moment I stepped closer. She growled. The sound was weak, broken by shivers, but it was still a warning, still a line drawn in the snow. I stopped a few feet away, heart hammering, cold suddenly irrelevant. Wolves weren't animals you helped. They were animals you respected from a distance, or paid for dearly if you crossed the line. I crouched slightly, keeping my weight low. The ice creaked beneath me, a quiet protest that made my stomach tighten. "Easy," I whispered, though I wasn't sure why. She wasn't listening. She was surviving. The wind picked up, cutting through my jacket, finding the gaps at my wrists and collar. Snow began to blow sideways, the first real signs of the storm rolling in faster than predicted. I looked around for anything that might give me a chance without putting us both in the water. Near the shoreline, half buried in snow, was a fallen branch. Thick, solid, long enough. I dragged it toward the crack, breath burning in my chest, hands already starting to go numb. Each step closer made the ice complain louder, vibrations buzzing up my legs like a warning shot straight to the spine. I could feel how thin it was here, how wrong. I lowered myself flat onto my stomach and slid the branch toward her, inch by inch. She snapped at it immediately, teeth flashing, missing by inches. The sound echoed sharp and metallic across the lake. Then she bit down hard, jaws clamping with everything she had left. I leaned back, boots digging in, snowshoes skidding as the ice fractured again, this time loud enough to make my ears ring. A spiderweb of cracks shot outward from the hole. For a moment, nothing happened. Then she pulled. It wasn't strength. It was refusal. Her claws scraped uselessly against the ice, chest heaving, breath coming in ragged gasps. My arms burned as I leaned farther back, lungs screaming, hands shaking so badly I thought I'd lose my grip. The ice groaned beneath me, deep and angry. I remember thinking, this is how people die. Helping. With one final surge, she slid free and collapsed onto the ice in a violent shudder. Steam rose off her body in thick clouds. Her teeth chattered uncontrollably, the sound sharp and frantic. The second she was clear, she spun toward me and snarled. I scrambled backward without standing, palms raised, heart pounding so hard I could hear it over the wind. She didn't chase. She just lay there, trembling, the fight draining out of her fast. That's when I knew she wasn't getting up. The storm swallowed the tree line. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. I checked my phone. No service. The nearest road was miles away, and even if I reached it, no one was getting through this weather in time. I laughed once, short and breathless, the sound stolen by the wind. Think, Mark, I muttered aloud. Just think. I moved slowly, deliberately, every step announced before I took it. I wrapped her in my spare jacket, keeping my hands clear of her mouth. She growled when I got too close, snapped weakly once, but never bit me. Whether that was restraint or exhaustion, I didn't know. Getting her back to the cabin took everything I had. I stopped more times than I can count. My legs shook, my fingers burned and then went numb entirely. She was heavy, not just in weight, but in responsibility. Every step felt like another chance to fail her. Inside the cabin, I built the fire higher than usual. The heat cracked the logs loudly, sharp pops echoing through the room. I laid out blankets near the hearth and retreated to the far wall, giving her space. She watched me constantly. Every movement, every breath. I slid food toward her instead of placing it. She didn't eat until I stepped away. She slept lightly, waking at every sound, body tense even as exhaustion dragged her under. Days passed. Then more days. Her strength returned slowly. The shivering eased. The growling softened, then stopped altogether. She never relaxed around me, not fully, but she stopped treating me like a threat. We existed together without touching, without affection, just proximity and time. When she was strong again, I opened the door. She stood there a long time, snow blowing in around her legs, nose lifting to test the air. She looked back at the fire, then at me. I didn't speak. I didn't move. She stepped into the forest and disappeared without a sound. I told myself that was the end of it. Still, every time I crossed the lake after that, I slowed down, listened. I checked the ice even when I didn't need to, even when I pretended I wasn't looking for anything. 6 months later, another blizzard came through. I was asleep when I heard scratching at the door, not frantic, deliberate. I sat up immediately, heart already racing, the sound stirring something deep and familiar. When I opened the door, the wind rushed in hard enough to steal my breath. She stood there in the snow, healthy now, thick-coated, eyes steady. Pressed against her side was a cub, small and shaking, one leg held awkwardly off the ground. She didn't growl, she just looked at me. I stepped aside. The cub ate like it hadn't eaten in days. The wolf watched me the entire time, not with fear, but recognition. Memory. Something steadier than trust. They stayed until morning. When the storm passed, she nudged the cub awake and headed for the door. Before leaving, she paused and looked back at me once more. I nodded. Some things don't need to be said twice.
Thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed the story, like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. This has been Fiction Flashback, where stories don't always end when the video does. Stay safe out there.